Welcome to Custom Roles. Today we will learn to create custom roles. This means designing specific permissions in SAP BTP to control user access. For instance, you could make a role allowing only finance staff to view payment data. Mastering this ensures your team has secure, appropriate access to necessary tools and information. Custom roles give specific access when standard roles do not fit. This means you can create tailored permissions for unique job duties. For example, if your team needs access only to sales reports but not customer data, a custom role grants exactly that. This ensures people have precisely the tools they need for their responsibilities. We will build roles step by step in the SAP BTP cockpit. This means we will create user permissions gradually using the platform's web interface. For example, you might first grant view access to reports, then later add authorization to approve expenses. This hands-on approach ensures you master role creation securely and effectively. You will be able to control exactly what users can do. This means you can grant specific permissions, like allowing only certain actions in an application. For instance, let a sales team view customer data but not modify payment terms. This precise control ensures users have just the access they need for their roles. When do you need custom roles in SAP BTP? When standard roles give too much access. This means the pre-built SAP roles provide broader permissions than your team needs, risking security. For example, a standard finance role might include payment approvals, but you only want view access for junior accountants. Custom roles let you grant only necessary permissions, ensuring security and compliance. When you need very specific permissions. This means standard roles grant either too much or too little access for a user's exact duties. For example, a finance user may require read-only access to payment data without approval rights. Custom roles ensure precise security by aligning permissions exactly with job requirements. When different teams need different access levels. This means separate groups require distinct permissions for their specific tasks. For example, your development team needs full access to deploy applications, while your quality assurance team only requires access to test them. Custom roles ensure each team has precisely the access they need to work effectively without unnecessary privileges. When business processes require special security. This means standard roles do not cover unique access needs for specific tasks. For instance, a company may need a custom role allowing only senior accountants to approve high-value payments, blocking junior staff. Creating tailored roles ensures precise control over critical operations. Standard roles versus custom roles. Standard roles, ready to use, general purpose. This means they are pre-built by SAP for common tasks and can be assigned immediately. For instance, a standard viewer role lets a user see data but not change it. These roles provide a quick and reliable starting point for access control in your applications. Custom roles made by you for specific needs. This means you create these roles yourself to address unique business requirements not covered by standard roles. For example, a company might need a custom role allowing only certain users to approve high-value purchase orders in their custom application. This tailored approach ensures precise access control for your unique processes. Standard roles, good for common situations. This means they are pre-built for typical user tasks, saving setup time. For example, a standard role might let a salesperson view customer data and create orders without needing special permissions. Using these roles streamlines access for most daily activities efficiently. Custom roles, perfect for unique requirements. This means you can create roles tailored to specific business processes not covered by standard SAP roles. For instance, a company needing a role for hybrid cloud data analysts could design one with precise authorizations for both on-premise and cloud data access. This flexibility ensures your security model aligns exactly with operational needs. Let's begin creating a custom role. Open SAP BTP Cockpit. This means accessing the web-based tool where you manage your SAP Business Technology Platform account and services. For instance, a developer would open it to begin setting up security for a new application. This initial step is essential to proceed with creating your custom role. Navigate to security roles. This means going to the security area in your SAP BTP cockpit to manage access permissions. For example, if you need to allow a new team member to view financial reports, you would start here. This is your first step to controlling who can see and do what in your applications. Click Create Role button. This action initiates the process to define a new security role in SAP BTP. For instance, if you need a role allowing only finance users to access payment apps, you start here. This first step is essential for tailoring system access precisely to your team's responsibilities. Give your role a clear name. This means using a descriptive title that immediately tells others what the role is for, making it easy to identify and manage. For example, name a role Purchase Order Approver instead of just Role 1. A well-chosen name ensures everyone understands its purpose without confusion. Naming your custom role. Use descriptive names like Finance Report Viewer. This means the role name should clearly indicate its purpose and who it's for, avoiding vague terms. For instance, instead of User Role 1, name it Procurement Approver for staff who approve purchase orders. Clear names improve security and maintenance by making roles instantly understandable. Include department or team name. This means you should add your group's name to the role title. For example, instead of just Invoice_Approver, name it Finance_Invoice_Approver. This instantly shows which team uses the role, making it easier to manage and assign permissions correctly across the organization. Make it easy to understand the purpose. This means the role name should instantly tell administrators what it allows users to do. For instance, name a role Sales Data Viewer instead of a generic role_12. This clarity prevents confusion and ensures the right people are assigned the correct access rights. A clear name simplifies security management significantly. Avoid confusing abbreviations. This means using clear, full words so anyone can understand the role's purpose without needing a separate key or explanation. For example, use Sales Order Approver instead of SOAP Arbor. This practice ensures clarity and reduces the risk of errors during role assignment and system configuration. Adding permissions to your role. Select the services your role needs. This means choosing which SAP BTP capabilities, like databases or AI tools, your role can access. For example, a sales analyst role might need access to the SAP HANA database service to run reports. By carefully selecting these, you ensure the role has precisely the right tools for the job. Choose specific actions: view, edit, create. This means selecting exactly what a user can do with an app, like only viewing data without changing it. For example, a cashier might only view prices but not edit them. Defining these actions ensures users have appropriate access to perform their jobs securely. Start with minimum needed permissions. This means granting only the essential access required for a role to function. For example, a sales role may need read access to customer data but not delete writes. This principle reduces security risks and ensures users have just enough access to perform their duties effectively. You can always add more later. Start with basic role permissions, then expand as needs grow. For example, initially grant read access to sales data, then later add permissions for editing or reporting. This phased approach ensures smooth adoption while maintaining security. Building roles incrementally keeps your project agile and manageable. Setting role scope and boundaries for enterprise security. Define where the role can be used. This means specifying the specific applications, systems, or departments where this role's permissions are active. For instance, a sales analyst role might only be accessible within the sales reporting application. Properly setting these boundaries ensures users have access only where necessary. Set limits for sub-accounts or directories. This means you define which parts of your organization can use specific roles, ensuring access is restricted to relevant areas. For example, limit a sales report viewer role to only the EME sales sub-account. By setting these boundaries, you maintain security and prevent unauthorized access across your landscape. Choose the right scope for your needs. This means selecting the specific area where a role applies, like to a single sub-account or the entire global account. For instance, a support role might be scoped to just the development sub-account, not production. Proper scoping ensures users have access only where necessary, enhancing security and governance. Remember, smaller scope is equal to better security. This means granting users only the absolute minimum permissions they need to perform their job. For example, an employee processing invoices should not have the ability to hire new staff. By limiting access, you significantly reduce the risk of accidental or intentional data breaches. This principle is a cornerstone of secure system design. Creating role collections in SAP BTP. Role collections group related roles. This means you bundle multiple permissions together into one package for easier assignment. For instance, instead of assigning individual finance roles separately, you create a finance analyst collection containing all necessary roles. This simplifies user access management significantly. Navigate to security role collections. This means going into the BTP cockpit's security area to manage groups of roles. For instance, to let your support team access monitoring tools, you would go here to assign the necessary authorizations. This is your central point for controlling user access in your applications. Create new collection or use existing. This means you can either build a custom role collection from scratch or select a pre-built one that matches your needs. For instance, when setting up a development team, you might create a new collection for them or reuse the existing developer collection. Always evaluate which approach best fits your security and access requirements. Add your custom role to the collection. This means including a role you have designed into a group of permissions. For instance, if you create an expense auditor role, you'd add it so users in this collection can review company expenses. This step ensures your tailored roles are actively assigned and functional for the intended users. Testing your custom role in SAP BTP. Assign role to a test user. This means giving a specific permission set to a mock account to verify it works. For example, assign your new sales analyst role to a test user and check if they can access sales reports. This confirms the role functions correctly before wider deployment. Log in as test user. This means accessing the system with a dedicated test account to verify your role works correctly. For example, after creating a sales analyst role, log in as a test user assigned that role to ensure you can access sales reports but not HR data. This hands-on step confirms your role's permissions are set up properly before going live. Check if permissions work correctly. This means verifying that users with your custom role can access only the intended apps and data. For example, a sales role should be able to view customer records but not modify financial reports. Always test thoroughly to ensure your security setup functions as designed. Verify user cannot access restricted areas. This means confirming the role prevents unauthorized access to sensitive data or functions. For example, a sales employee with this role should be unable to view or modify confidential HR salary details. This validation is essential for maintaining proper security and data governance within your application. Common testing scenarios for SAP BTP solutions. Test what the user can access. This means verifying that authorized users can successfully use the specific applications, data, and functions they are permitted to. For example, a sales representative should be able to view customer records but not payroll information. Ensuring proper access is fundamental to a secure and functional system. Test what the user cannot access. This means verifying that users are blocked from data or functions they should not see. For example, a regular employee should be unable to view confidential payroll information. This is crucial for maintaining security and data privacy in your applications. Try different actions: view, create, delete, dot. This means you should test all key functions in your app to ensure they work as expected. For example, in a shopping cart app, verify you can see items, add new ones, and remove them. Comprehensive testing helps confirm your application's reliability and user experience. Check across different services. This means verifying that all integrated SAP BTP services work together as expected. For example, after a business application uses the SAP HANA Cloud database, you must confirm data flows correctly to SAP Analytics Cloud for reporting. Always test these connections to prevent disruptions in your end-to-end processes. What to do if you encounter an issue? Check role permissions again. This means verifying your user account has the correct authorizations to access the specific tool or service. For example, if you cannot view a Cloud Foundry space, your role might lack the space auditor assignment. Always confirm your permissions are correctly assigned to resolve such access issues. Verify role collection assignment. This means checking if your user account has the correct permissions to access the SAP BTP service. For example, if you cannot view an application, an administrator might need to assign you the viewer role. Ensuring the right roles are assigned resolves many access issues. Confirm user has correct assignment. This means checking if the person has the necessary permissions or role to access a specific service or application in BTP. For example, if a user cannot view a cloud application, first verify they have the viewer role assigned. Ensuring proper role assignment is the first step in resolving access issues. Test with different user if needed. This means checking if the problem is specific to one user's account or settings. For instance, if a report fails for one employee, try accessing it with a colleague's login to see if it works. This helps determine if the issue is user-specific or a broader system problem. Maintaining your custom roles effectively and securely. Review roles regularly. This means periodically checking your SAP BTP custom roles to ensure they still grant only the necessary permissions. For example, if an employee changes departments, verify their old access is removed to prevent security risks. This proactive habit is essential for maintaining a secure and compliant system. Update when business needs change. This means you modify roles when company processes or regulations evolve. For instance, if your company starts requiring managers to approve all purchases, you'd add that approval permission to their role. Keeping roles current ensures users have the correct access for their job duties. Remove unused roles. This means deleting roles that are no longer assigned to any users. For example, if you created a special reporting role for a project that has now ended, you should delete it. This keeps your system clean and secure, preventing potential access issues. Document role purposes. This means clearly writing down what each custom role is designed to do, so its permissions make sense to everyone. For example, an invoice approver role's purpose is to allow users to review and approve financial invoices, preventing them from editing vendor master data. This simple practice ensures roles remain clear, secure, and aligned with business tasks over time. Custom role creation has been successfully completed. You can now create custom roles. This means you define specific permissions for users in your SAP BTP applications. For instance, grant your sales team access only to customer data without exposing financial reports. This precise control enhances security and operational efficiency in your organization. You understand when to use them. This means knowing the specific scenarios where custom roles are necessary, such as when standard roles do not meet unique business security requirements. For example, creating a custom role for a finance team that needs access only to certain approval workflows in an application. Mastering this ensures you apply custom roles effectively and securely. You know how to test them properly. This means verifying that your custom role grants exactly the intended authorizations and nothing more. For example, after creating a role for a sales team, you would log in as a test user to ensure they can only access sales reports, not financial data. This step is essential for maintaining a secure and compliant system. You are ready to secure your BTP environment. This means you can now create custom roles to control exactly what users can access. For instance, you might create a role allowing finance users to only view, not modify, sensitive payment data. This foundational skill ensures your applications and data remain protected according to your specific business needs.